Hello? A?
Jay, what's up? Are you alright?
I don't know. I had a dream, or maybe it was more like a memory?
What kind of memory?
One of the ones from before, except instead of him, it was me in the memory.
A time you felt like yourself, then?
Something like that. A time he felt like me, you know?
Do you want to tell me about it?
Okay.
Jay, are you there?
Sorry. Yeah. I was with Nina in the dream. We were talking about a poem I loved. Maybe our talks about poetry reminded me or something. We just talked about it, and then I started remembering other things, other moments as we talked.
What was the poem?
It was called Ode.
Could you maybe recite it for me?
Okay.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams, wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting by desolate streams, world losers and world forsakers on whom the pale moon gleams. Yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. Yes, I got the yeah. Okay. With wonderful deathless ditties, we build up the world's great cities. And out of a fabulous story, we fashion an empire's glory! Sorry.
Nice use of the space.
One man with a dream at pleasure shall go forth and conquer a crown, and three with a new song's measure shall trample an empire down. We in the ages lying, in the buried past of the earth, build Nineveh with our sighing, and Babel itself with our mirth. And o'erthrew them with prophesying the old of the new world's worth. For each age is a dream that is dying, or one that is coming to birth.
Beautiful.
Yes, I got the other one right too. All right.
I guess I thought it would be good to mention the moment of your life that this is happening in.
Sure. I'm currently applying to colleges. I'm 17. I would like to, at some point in the future, be a writer of some sort. Whether that be a performer, an artist, a journalist, a novel writer, whatever form it may take.
Okay. So the poem you said is called Ode, and what is it an ode to?
It is an ode to the artists, the musicians, the writers, the dreamers of the world, the ones that behind the scenes and perhaps imperceptibly keep the world turning and keep the world advancing and bring the new dreams to fruition. It's an ode to us, and it is an ode kind of to himself in a strange sort of way, because he characterizes the we in a very personal way. He draws upon his own experience and seems to elevate the role that he plays in society, elevate the role that he and so many others have chosen to take.
That's a big leap.
Well,
And that was
given
not
what I know about physics. Physics. I'm pretty sure that's all that physics is useful for.
falling out of trees.
Yes. Surviving falling out of trees.
There's this line, one man with a dream at pleasure can go forth and conquer a crown. But who gave him that dream in the first place? It's we are the dreamers. It says that in stanza 1. So we're the ones who inspire that person to go forth and conquer the crown.
It's a little egotistical, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I am the greatest decorator. There could be a mural of a pony right here, right on this wall where nothing's happening.
It's so blank.
And
Look
certainly
at that
a mural of a
blankness.
pony is not happening, and it's a crime. I would know. I've committed several.
So can you tell more about the meaning of the poem? Like what stanza by stanza?
Well, First, he introduces his characters. They are we. They are the music makers and dreamers of dreams. They're the artists, the writers, the creators of fancy. He characterizes them as kind of not taking care of themselves, maybe, not doing what is the best for them, but rather doing what is the best for the dream, for the art. We wander by lone sea breakers and sit by desolate streams, and that's not necessarily good for us, but it's good for the art. On whom the pale moon gleams. We're staying up all night and we're writing instead of, sleeping and being a productive member of society. I'm putting that in quotes. And it finishes the first stanza with, "Yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever it seems." Because the productive members of society are viewed by society as just that. They're the ones that are doing things. They're the scientists, the innovators, the police force, the detectives, the academics. And he's saying, yet we are the movers and shakers. Even if the other more mentally healthy are the ones that are implementing it.
Okay. Maybe go ahead with telling us about each of the other stanzas, and then I have some more questions.
All right. The next stanza is all about the world and our impact on it. With wonderful deathless ditties, we build up the world's great cities. Well, that's kind of the power of the art exemplified. Because, like in an anime, if someone new walks in and they flick someone and that huge guy goes spiraling into the wall and everyone's like, oh my god, he's the true strongest warrior of the blah 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 blah, then it's just like a little motion translates to a big action, and that's what the power comes from. That's what the power that we perceive in him comes from. So, therefore, these deathless ditties, a ditty is just freestyle, and that has huge repercussions. We're building the world's great cities. So that's kind of the poetry version of the anime guy flicking the bigger anime guy. Yeah, we're going to see my favorite part of the building security. It's going to be great, and we're really just going to get it.
Okay, what do you want to say about the final stanza?
This final stanza ties it back around to history. It's saying, not only do we move and shake the world, we always have. We are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. So, in the ages lying in the buried past of the earth, if you dig up ancient civilizations, you'll find our art, you'll find our words, and you'll find that they built up the cities and they trampled them down. Okay, so this is my favorite part of the building security.
Do tell.
You have this key card thing, and the key card unlocks the gate, right? So you can't get in without the key card. Oh, shoot. You can't get in without the key card. Luckily, if you're on the other side of the gate, there's this button that you can press, so the gate automatically opens. But here's the thing, the button is just right here.
What?
It's such great security.
This is an emergency. We are not secure. I repeat.
And with the references to Nineveh and Babel, kind of almost grant a deific power to these artists, in that they've created these deities, they've created these stories, these myths. Babel is a story from the Bible.
Biblical stories and myths.
Exactly.
So it almost even places the artists above God?
I place artists as the creators of gods and religions. And if religions were created by artists, the artists have moved whatever that religion moved.
It's almost portrayed as a burden, perhaps.
It's more portrayed in the context of the world and the impact the artists have on it, and the burden part only comes really in the first stanza, where We see the actual life of the artist as this person who sits by desolate streams and who is a world loser and world forsaker.
It sounds very lonely.
And it is. You have to be able to lose this world to envision another one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have your head in the clouds, and to do that, sometimes you have to leave the ground.
Okay. So we talked about how this poem is kind of connected with your own identity. Can you say more about how you relate to this particular poem?
Well, as an aspiring mover and shaker, I have been moved and shaken by my predecessors. And I think that everyone has. I think that the literature and the art that we consume as we're growing up and even in our adulthood continuously influences all of our decisions. That is the conversation that is happening in our minds. It's a compilation of references to art in some form.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like it's actually a poem that helps you reflect upon your own sense of identity, of who you are.
Yes, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the reason why it appeals to you so strongly.
Why now?
I don't know. The machine is one thing, but there were moments before. The first moments I was me.